Hello, hello. Let's just check the hair there. How are we doing? Hopefully the audio's good. Right. Okay. Lights, camera, action. How's everyone doing? I've not got my music. Gotta sort that out. Oh no, I don't think I have headphones. No. No headphones. Damn it, I have to listen to the sound of my own voice. How unfortunate. Ooh, I feel a bit higher today. Hang on. There we go. Much better. Oh, wait, now I'm too small. Oh, for goodness sake. The perils of being a designer. Okay, right. What am I doing? Yeah, so today we're going to do design review again. It's been a while. Have your designs ready. I'm just literally creating a shareable linky poo now. And then I will pop that in the chat. And if you would like a chance for your work to be reviewed, then feel free to submit it. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny, but always good fun seeing what people are working on. Right. Okay. Share a link. Right. As long as I've set this up correctly, you can submit your work there. Hey, Sema, how you doing? Gio, Mohammed, Axel, Samuel, Joshua Jumbo. Hi, Dansky from Nigeria. Hello, Joshua from Nigeria. So, Sir Lallington, this will be my last attendance for 2 weeks while I'm attending a training course. No! That's no good. I hope it's a good training course. Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah. Going offline for 2 weeks. Going AWOL. Design Dynamo. Hey, good to see you. Yassine, did you watch WWDC last night, Dansky? No, I didn't. No, I heard something about Apple Intelligence, AI, something or other. And, yeah, no. I'm still on the iPhone 11. I just, I love my iPhone 11. Thoughts on Adobe peeking into our cloud directories as part of their terms and conditions? Thoughts? Well, I think it's fair to say that it's been quite divisive amongst the community, and feathers have been ruffled. And I think the thing is that sometimes I think some of these things can be avoided. They can be avoided just by making different choices, or when it comes down to wording, perhaps wording things a bit differently. And that's definitely a skill that I think every designer should know. Is how you word things, how you communicate information, how you present. It's definitely an essential skill for any creative, because you can be the best designer in the world, but you've got to work with people, colleagues, teams. You've got to pitch, you've got to present, and there's those sorts of skills that I don't think they don't get talked about enough. And it's something that I certainly didn't appreciate, and I had to kind of learn it the hard way through going through the industry and making tons of mistakes and just learning from it. How are you, Dansky? I'm very good. Stop spamming the chat! I will put you in timeout. Don't think I won't do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Right. Okay, for anyone who's just joined, I'm just going to copy the link again. Where is it? Copy link. So you can submit your work there, and let me open the file. and see if anyone... Oh, we've got some stuff already. Oh my goodness, it's flying in. My goodness. Right, we'll whip some of this up in a minute. It's so annoying I left my headphones at home. Okay, right. Ooh, these are cool. Okay, let's open this one up. This is by Sema, who I believe is here in the chat. I mean, this looks super cool. This looks wicked. Sema, how did you create this? Yeah, I like the lettering as well. Photoshop Express. So was this something that you created from scratch or brushed, or like, is it got like AI in it, or like, how did you go about making this? And is this like a representation of you? I know it's got your name here. Is this just like for you, like a badge? I definitely got help from artificial intelligence. So did AI generate the graphic and then you photoshopped your name in? Oh, I love the colors and the texture as well. Let me just zoom in. Oh, hang on, I've got my stylus connected. Yeah, I do love that. Oh yeah, I think yeah. So I think you can sort of tell when you kind of like AI can be useful in some ways, but when you zoom in, you can kind of scrutinize it a little bit more. You sort of see the kind of you can tell where the AI has been used. Sort of here, you can sort of see the lines sort of break a little bit, and there's a few inconsistencies. Hang on, let me just set my tablet up correctly. Okay, there we go. There we go. Tracking correctly. Excellent. Hi, Dansky. Are you playing Hamster Combat or Tap Swap? I have no idea what those are. What is Hamster Combat? But I tried so hard for the color, I couldn't get the tone I wanted. Yeah, I do love the detailing on the flower and the leaves. Oh, is the name AI as well? I mean, it's an interesting style. Is the whole thing AI? This would be a nice design to see how to convert a rasterized image into a vector. I mean, I did this a little while ago in a coaching session. For anyone who's interested, I do offer one-to-one coaching on dansky.com. Yeah, let's just try it. All right, let's get Illustrator over here, because Illustrator does have a live trace feature. I don't think this is especially high resolution, so let's see. We'll go... Well, let's try high fidelity. We'll try high fidelity photo first, and we'll see how it looks. I mean, it's not done too bad of a job. It's just it's not going to capture those details. We could play around with the settings, but the thing is, if you can get like a result that you're happy with the image trace, this does become vector. So this is now scalable to any size. So if you're happy with the quality of a trace, then that's good because you can scale it. What happens if I do ignore black? Oh no, I can't ignore the color. Corners. Less corners, more paths. Because there's lots of detail in this, by increasing the paths, you can get a bit more detail. You can also blow up your computer in the process. So we'll, well, I was going to say we'll tread carefully. Screw it. Let's go to 100%. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so you get a bit more detail. Colors, we could bring the colors down. There aren't that many colors in the design, so you can see there by bringing the colors down you do get a bit more of a simplified version. Yeah, that's not too bad. And as I say, now we've got that trace, we can actually scale that up. So that's one way that image trace is very, very useful. Is that, yeah, like I say, if you can get a decent trace of something, so let's say you've got a sketch or whatever it is you bring into Illustrator, if you can get a good trace, whether it's this or some line work or whatever, or a logo, and you can trace it good enough, you can then scale that up and stick it on the side of a building if you need to. All right, there we go. Let's bring my panels back in. Great label for unfiltered beer. Launch your brand. I mean, yeah, it's yeah, I could see that on a beer bottle. Ah, yeah, cool, nice, nice. Right, let's have another look. Let's open up bridge. Cool. Right, we've got this one from Nathan. Oh, so yeah, this was a play on, you know, a few streams ago where I was playing with my eye. I don't know if this is my eye that's Nathan's working with, or Nathan, is, if you're in the chat, is this your eye that you've done this on? But this is Nathan's attempt at just playing around with the eye and getting Photoshop crazy. I love these little details as well. I mean, yeah, how, if you're in the chat, how did you create that? I love the way you've got the little sort of little details sprinkled around the edge, and then on the inside of the eye, you've got them reversed out, so they're kind of black or darker. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you know, you could do the trace in black and white and then just recolor it yourself. Also, how's the stream? Is the stream stable? Is it okay? YouTube's giving me that warning again, and I just tend to ignore it. So hopefully it's all right. Still not me. Hello. How you doing? Yes, it's okay. Excellent. Dante, hey, good to see you. Dansky! Hello. Yeah, sorry for the last minute switcheroo today with the time. I have to do it earlier because I have to go and get a haircut and the time changed around. And I need my trim. Okay, let's move on. Let's open up another one. Ooh, Design Dynamo. Ooh, this is interesting. We have a PDF. How many pages do we have in this PDF? One, right. I'm going to open this in Photoshop because Adobe Acrobat is a pain in the ass for me to navigate around. I've got all the Photoshop and Illustrator shortcuts in my head and it's just a nightmare. Right, cool. Denline shipping. Ooh, this is interesting. So we've got the letter D for Denline. Great. We've got a ship. And we have a line. Okay, interesting. Denline. How to send you the work? Yeah, I need to. I'll put that in the stream description. Actually, probably if I was organised, I would have done that beforehand.
Wish you just zoomed out a bit. You don't.
Shut up. Silence advert. Right, I'll paste the link in a second in the chat. I'm just adding it to the stream description as well. So, right, submit your type. There you go. So the link is here, or you can refresh the stream, and that's how you submit your work. Moosh! Hello, I'm late, but I'm here. No, sorry, Moosh, it's my fault. I'm early. Yes, you've got the new icon. You've got the new icon. Do you like it? Do you see it work? I think it works, doesn't it? I mean, I can't really see what it is at this size, but, you know, we know what it is. Yeah, so letter D in the ship. Okay, so I get the D, I get the ship line. So we've got the linear. Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm being dumb. We've got the lines at the bottom. Right, I see. I see. I'm with you now. That was just me being a bit dumb. I love this presentation style. The way you've got the different bits highlighted. That's really, really cool. I mean, maybe it could be a bit clearer with the blue line kind of specifically on each bit directing to the white part, maybe. Do you see what I mean? So these kind of lines with a circle on, they're kind of like sort of annotation labels. Maybe they should touch the bit they relate to. But I see why you've done it this way is to keep it consistent, and also it could just be me being a bit dumb. It could be me being a bit slow today. So, but that's probably what I would consider is just maybe having those lines with a dot just touch the bit they relate to. Oh, you think the icon works well? Awesome. Excellent. Denline shipping. Yeah. Yeah, I think I like the colours. Blue is at a very typical level, sort of synonymous with kind of trust, reliability, those sorts of things. You know, you can look up the sort of the colour theory on what the different colours, what the connotations that the different colours kind of could have. Oh, I don't know. I think there's too many. I don't know what you guys think. Like, you've got the blue here, you've got the lighter blue. Let me just zoom in on the logo mark a second. You've got the dark blue, the lighter blue, the red, and then you've got black as well. So you've got 4 colours. I don't know. I feel like it could be 2 quite comfortably. Like, I feel like the wave lines at the bottom, or maybe it's the red I'm not sure about. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, because this part here is predominantly blue. So blue is like a very kind of prominent colour. But then you've got red in this part of the logo. And it feels like there's a disconnect between the mark and the type. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the black needs to go. Maybe you go red and blue. I'm going to open this. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to try and open the PDF in Illustrator. It's one of those ones where I'm just looking at it and I feel like I need to have a play with this. Can I? Yes, I can move it around. Excellent. Okay, right. Let's just have a play. Ooh, steady on down. Just whacking my hand into the mic. Right, let's just give myself a bit of white space. I think I like the concept. I think creatively I love the concept. And the D as well, it almost kind of, you know, it works a little bit like a backdrop, like a city skyline without being a city skyline. Like it really does sort of frame the whole thing really nicely. Right, let's whip it over. So we'll start with this one here. Yeah, I think the font as well. I'm not sure about the font, but hopefully you don't mind me having a play. I love doing this sort of thing. So, all right, let's just strip out the color first of all. Go back to black. Okay, it's gonna be quite tricky to edit. Right, so the D and the waves, love them. They're great. Yeah, we could fiddle around with the position and tweak that, but I think generally they're great. I think the ship is the problem I have. I don't know if this stroke is thick enough, and the way it sort of touches here but doesn't is kind of a bit weird. We've got this little bit of a curve on the end, but also the spacing here. You see if I let's get a color. Brush. Why can't I brush? Illustrator, what are you doing to me? You see the width here? This width is different to this width. So ideally, because these sort of bits are near each other, we'd have a bit of kind of consistency. The curve, I don't know, man. I don't know. This. I'm just looking up ship icons. Yeah, I'm just looking at this one. Obviously, we don't want to just go and rip this off, but I think we've got... Do you see what I mean? I think that's like a real kind of minimal version. We don't even have to include all the detail, but it's just got a few curves in the right places. And we've got some curves here as well. So this design's got a lot of curves in it. And I think the shape of the ship, it feels, and I mean this in a not an offensive way, a purely like a descriptive way, it feels more immature. The logo design as a whole feels very, very clean and polished. Sorry, I don't know what I've done here to this wave. But the shape of this, I think that the shape feels a bit childish. And I feel like that shape needs just a little bit more maturity. Does that make sense? So I'm just gonna try something like this just to see. See if we can get a nice shape. All right, I'm doing this very off the cuff, so please excuse if it's somewhat crude. Let's get those down there. Try and fill it in. There we go. Okay. Let's add a white border. We'll set that to the outside so we're not kind of encroaching on any of the detail. Even though I'm doing this quite quick. Hopefully this will look all right. Hopefully. So we'll make that slightly thicker. And then actually, do you know what? Rather than me redraw this and waste time, let's just try and live trace it. I wouldn't do this personally because we are just kind of literally taking an existing design. But essentially what I'm trying to do here is just see how it looks with a slightly more mature shape in it. And I think using image trace will at least give us a good indication if this is worth pursuing or not. There's no point going and drawing like an entirely new ship if actually when you put it in it's like, oh, that's a bit, it's not great, you know. And then we would need to maybe we could have that curve kind of continue up there, which could be quite nice. And how am I going to do this here? So if I not like that, steady hand, we'll do that there, swap it around, we'll make that black, and then we could do like a nice little negative space cut. Let's go on the outside. You see what I mean? And it's leaning a bit to the left there. I think it is. It's a bit. It's a bit left heavy. We might need to kind of pull that in, and you know, things like this. I would match the curve maybe, rather than have it taper off. I would also increase the weight, just so we don't have any of this weirdness going on. It's so close and tight, those gaps, so I would push them a bit larger, and then maybe you could round them off. What I'd probably do actually is I'd probably get rid of these details. They're sort of bringing the stroke out quite far. Yeah, and I sort of could tuck that in quite nicely. Do you see what I mean? And I would look at this now and go, actually, yeah, do you know what? This is probably worth pursuing, even if I don't use that exact graphic, because I've just grabbed that from the internet. I didn't even look. Where's that from? Yeah, so that might have been done by somebody else. But at least I can see that having that, it's kind of less flat as well. It's got like a little bit more depth to it. But just image tracing that, dumping it in, it gives you a good idea of, like, you know, you can see it and go, oh yeah, actually that's got some legs to it. It's worth pursuing. Hey Reese, thank you so much for coming, man. You took time out your busy schedule. How's all the work going? I hope you're not too swamped. You need a trim, you say, the logo. We'll need another update. Paul says blue equals water, maybe. I agree with this. Do you think D-line or D-line should be blue instead of black? Quite possibly. Maybe the water in the same dark blue. Yes, quite possibly, Leandro. Red and light blue could be more saturated. Hey, Roger, good to see you. Axel says, hi, Dansky, where can I send you my file to review it live now? So there's a link in the stream description. So if you upload your files there, and I'll get through as many as I can today. I can see why Dynamo picked the simple shape, as it's deviating too much from the D. The D is not that clear anymore. Okay. So what I would probably do in that example is kind of copy it and then probably play around with the size a little bit more and have it kind of come into the D perhaps a bit less. So more of that D finds its way down. And some of these details here, these could be too granular, especially at smaller sizes. So like I say, this is just like a starting point. In fact, we could actually, do you know what? We could take it. Oh no, that's... Yeah, so I mean, you could take the back off and it looks a bit more like a D. I'd probably be inclined to keep it and just maybe remove a few of those little bits. And when I do that, it keeps messing the stroke up. But yeah, then... Oh, I mean, we could even... Let's just pen tool this very quickly and terribly. We don't need to be too precise here. This is just about getting the lines and shapes in the right place. Yeah, so it's just literally just tinkering. It's just tinkering, really. So we could do that. Have a nice little curve there. Try and match the width of what's below. So yeah, there's loads of different. I think that top one looks probably more ship-like. I think you lose a little bit of the ship element with the ship sort of resting on the water. And as you've probably seen, it's all just about experimentation, really. Just offshoots and then tinkering and just seeing what works. So yeah, you could bring the size down a bit. I won't spend too long on just tinkering with this. We'll get to colour in a second. And then maybe that white, that could blend into there. Actually, you know what? I think I'll just stick with that one. I think that one's actually captures the shape a bit more. So what I would do now is, obviously it's all just a bit of a mess of white and black. Lay in a background color. I'm going to streamline the color in this. So we're going to lay in a background color. Set it back. Lock it. And we've got whites and blacks all over the place. So we'll keep expanding. And then the trick is to select all of the white. We'll unite that. Hang on. Let's try and grouping everything first. We need to separate the white and the black. So there we go. There's the white. Do you know what? I might have to shape builder tool this. The shape builder tool is great for kind of getting in and working with designs like this that are a little bit more intricate. So I'm just getting rid of all the white. And this will leave the black. What you can do is you can group all the white together, group all the black together, and then knock the white out the black. But sometimes it's just easier to kind of, especially with designs that are more detailed, to get in there with the shape builder tool. You've got to be careful that you do get these little, you see these bits that are left over? The shape builder tool can have all sorts of little artifacts left over. So you want to zoom in 1000%, clean it up. When you're sure you've got all the black, we can unite that together and we get a single shape like this. So now I could go and apply the blue, for example. And then what we could do actually is just have a slightly lighter blue. And then go even lighter there, perhaps. So we're sort of doubling down on the blue side of things. Quite possibly. I think it's good that it works in black and white. We could still try the red. Or we could have the cargo containers in red and the ship in blue. Possibly. Let's get rid of these. Yeah, definitely needs a bit of tinkering. Yes, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, there is a lot of detail. We definitely need to check check that at a smaller size because it might be too detailed. But that's what I would essentially try. That's the point I'm trying to make with this, is I think the ship is the part that possibly needs some different ship shapes trying. I think the D in the water looks great. And having the bottom of the ship match the water as well. And I think the font... We got Denline. Denline. Lots of web projects lately, but we're here still trying to grow the biz. Well, it's good you're keeping busy, man. That's good you're keeping busy. I'm going to run the bath one of those mornings. Oh my goodness, is it bath time already? Looks like a little bit shark. Hey, Wilson. No, Raquel, I'm early. I'm early today. My bad. When I saw the D, I thought you were changing business. Yeah, we're moving on from design. We're getting into shipping now. Let's just update that. Here we go. Yeah. In terms of the font, I think I'd probably go with something relatively simple, possibly in caps. Something that is just that kind of conveys, I think, just strong, durable, confident. You know, this is shipping. It's got to be, ships have got to be strong. You want to reassure people that whatever is being transported is going to be safe, reliable, trustworthiness, all those things. That's kind of what we need to communicate. Something like that, maybe. What was that? Could even just use Arial. Denline. Oh, so many fonts. Avant-garde, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to spend ages picking fonts, but just even something relatively simple. Yeah, it's not perfect, but... And then we've got, what, shipping underneath. Denline, shipping... Could even... Oh, could try and tighten that up a wee bit more. So we've got one there. We could try another smaller one. So we'll go with Denline. Shipping, I mean, there's loads of different ways you could do this. Denline. Shipping, have the red in that color. And we don't have a different weight, which is a damn shame. Let's try a different font. We'll go with just something else that's simple and bold. Satoshi. We could, yep, try a version with the tracking bumped up. Yeah, I don't mind that one too much. Yeah, so there's a few different ways you could play it. And this kind of design would work stacked as well. So let's just try a stacked one. So we've got like a bit more of a like for like comparison, you know? And centrally align it. Yeah, it needs more work, but I think generally, I think maybe streamlining the colors into a specific palette, you know, could be one way to go with it. What do you think? Now I see the shark. Oh no, where's the shark? Oh no. Yeah. I see what you mean actually. Oh no. Yeah. Like I said, I just grabbed this off of Google. You know, you could spend ages refining the ship. I think the D and the waves are absolutely spot on. I think maybe the ship just could be tweaked a bit, and the fonts, and then possibly refine the colors a bit. I think with the colors, it's just making so there's like a more synergy between the mark and the type. Yeah, basically. Enough with YouTube. Hello, shipping and logistics. Hey, Dansky, what's up? Hey, Zakir, how you doing? Whose design is it? This is Design Dynamos. Right. Let's move on. Who submitted this? Hardapple Jake. I'm sorry, I got a. What is this? Potato. 100% natural. That is a beautiful photo of a potato. Um, I need, if you're in the chat, I need context. And promotion for potatoes, I guess. I need a bigger boat. Oh no, not baby shark. I get enough of that. You wouldn't eat that potato? That's an AI generated spud, is it? I don't know. Our local shop, they've got some pretty big potatoes, man. Like, I see potatoes like this on the regular. We're pretty lucky there. They get some local stuff in. They got some good spuds. Well, we're gonna critique what we can see. I mean, I like this. I don't know where that came from, but that's lovely. Very small. Potato in all caps. Bit shouty. Gets the message across. I think like potato. 100% natural. I'm not really sure what else to say, to be honest. The cloud brushes feel a bit unnecessary. I feel like the whole thing should be more naturey rather than just, you know, random potato floating in the abyss. Kind of, it's got that like abyssal ending, never-ending darkness kind of vibe. Not sure about the box platform. Shadow doesn't feel realistic enough. It's too soft. So the shadow needs a bit of work. I mean, I don't know. You know, what do you want from me? The shadowing on the bottom of the potato is, yeah. I mean, the cutout as well. Cutout of the potato, got the halo around the edge. It needs to be a little bit softer. The cutout's too hard, I think. I'm trying to work with this as best I can. Like this is what I've got to work with. Make a picture looking like a product. I'm just the AI police, like the new Instagram update. This was made with AI. Eduardo, 100% potato. Alpha, there's a link in the stream description. So if you'd like to submit, my advice is don't hang about because I think there's quite a lot. Da, 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 da. Ooh, this is a bit different. What do you guys think to this? Yeah, we're done with potato. We're moving on now. There's only so much time I can spend critiquing a potato. 1984 potato. Math agency. Okay. The colours are different. They're not colours that I would associate with any other brand that I can think of. Which is, I guess, makes it stand out. I think I like it. It feels very simple. Would be my first like raw critique. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, this mark, it's clean, simple, maybe slightly thicker lines for scalability, you know, because that's quite small. But it definitely does convey an element of math, I think, with the sort of precision side of it. I don't know. I kind of want to make those perfect semicircles, but I don't know if that kind of... I'm not a math person at all, so I don't know. Maybe there's a reason they've done it at that specific shape. Like my non-math brain wants to do it like this. Okie dokie. Do you see what I mean? Like my math brain wants to do it with perfect half circles rather than this sort of ellipse shape, but I don't know, maybe that's an inside math thing that I'm not aware of. Looks like NBA ball. Reese says I like the shape. Daytrex smart shape. One has got to go. Yeah, maybe. I think maybe just something a little bit more interesting. Like it's functional. It's functional, but it's just the most forgettable font ever. It's just, I don't know what it is. What is it? Like Helvetica or something, just one of those sans serif fonts that's just very unmemorable now. Yeah, a few people are saying it's like a basketball. Represents quadrants and graphs really well. Not a fan of the typo. No. It's a bit safe and kind of forgettable, but it's functional. Like if you were to put this on a site or on some packaging or promotional material or whatever, and the design of that material was really, really good, I think a lot of people that would consume this would overlook the slightly uninteresting font choice. Even if you were to take a font like this that's pretty plain and just modify it slightly and add a few kind of cuts and curves in a few different places. Like sometimes fonts will kind of, you could do this, you know, you can cut things slightly differently, or just maybe customize some of the letters and just do something, like give it a little bit of a twist. Abyss potato is true potato. Juliana says would leave only one of the quadrants. Yeah, I suppose if you were to mix it up, you would kind of get rid of the basketball thing. I mean, something else you could do, go back a few steps, is that. So it's more like a graph. You get rid of the basketball issue, but you still got the math side of things. You could even... That might look a bit awful. Maybe not. But that could still kind of convey something. Let's try and mock it up. Maybe. I don't know. Or we start in this corner and we do a graph. Obviously better than that. I think there's something about that does convey like precision, but I think there's other shapes and curves and lines you could also use to convey math, you know? All hail Ariel. Yeah. Maybe use technical blue and white like a blueprint. Yeah, you could do. Yeah, not too precious on the color. It's definitely different. I think it's the kind of thing that it'd be good to see it with a bit more context. You know, it's very easy to look at it here, but it's like when you see it mocked up on things, it's like, okay, how do those colors look with a bit more context, you know? Murad says, I think monotype fonts would fit. Raz says, if you rid of the bottom curve, you would get an M in the icon. Ooh. Got rid of the bottom curve. Sorry, which one are we looking at? Two arcs forming the small M would be interesting. Yeah, that'd be good as well. Moo says it needs some sort of sophistication to make it feel smarter, perhaps the font. Yeah, Mohammed, there's a link in the stream description. So if you want to have a chance for your work to be reviewed, like I say, I've got about another about an hour, just under an hour. So I'll try and get through as many as I can. It looks like the Microsoft logo now. Yeah, I think if you had different colors in every every segment, it would probably look a wee bit Microsofty. It's a little bit McDonald's. Possibly. Oh yeah, I don't know. It's not really conveying math. I think if I were to go and type math symbol. Let's have a look. What have we got? What have we got? Or just mathematics and see what kind of... Yeah, maybe. I don't know if any of this. Like this sort of shape here. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe you got like a half circle and a radius or something. I don't know. Maths words. So like having a line come out here. And then something like that, perhaps? Possibly different widths as well, actually. Actually, I'll probably make that thicker and then make these thinner. Yeah, maybe that would help, actually, playing around with different widths. So one kind of looks like a set of guides. So I could make that bigger. Oh, this is probably going to look a bit too complicated. Maybe? Oh, I don't know, actually. I mean, yeah, maybe a bit complicated. Could I make that thinner? Again, got to check scalability. And maybe the shape on there isn't quite right, but you've got like that sort of gridded lined paper that, well, I remember from school working and doing maths in the school book, but then you've got the actual lines on top. Could even make those thicker, so they kind of really contrast against that thing. I don't think the shapes are quite right here, but you could have some mathematical shapes in the thicker lines, and then that would kind of convey math a bit more. Possibly. Hey, Andrea, how you doing? Golden ratio, yeah, maybe something like that. That could work. McDonald's meets Microsoft. It's too early over here in the US for math. Reese, it's always too early for math. Okay, a few different ideas. Yeah, I think as long as the symbol kind of conveys math. A typography mark with a degree symbol. Oh yeah, that could be quite interesting. Hang on. Is it just a circle, isn't it? Very specific. Yeah, that would be. So maybe a slightly more interesting font. And then it could quite literally be something like that. Let's get rid of that. Just literally that. Wait. Oof. Oof, that yellow on white. Not ideal. Let's just work in black. Yeah, I mean, yeah. What I'd probably do is use a bolder font. I'm going to cheat this just for the sake of it to demonstrate what I mean. You could pick a relatively simple font, make it a wee bit more interesting, and then just chunk one up. I'm doing this the very lazy way. So obviously I've just butchered that, but do you see what I mean? So you've got something very, very simple like math with the circle, the degree symbol, and then you just got a bold font and a light font. You pair them together. You can put them side by side. You could stack them. Obviously that looks terrible, but just do it properly. Well, in fact, actually, just while we're here, come on, let's not be lazy, Dan. Come on. What about work sans? How do you look? You good? Yeah, good. Let's have a look. No, I don't like you. I'm gonna use Satoshi again. I am being a little bit of a Satoshi whore today. Right. Swap it round. Degrees. Stick you there. Go math. Agency. I mean, what more do you need? It kind of bridges the gap quite nicely. Let's make sure we got this scaling on. One version there. Is it going to win any awards? Probably not. There's a bunch of different things we can do with it. Could scale that down. Ah. Capitalize it, adjust the tracking. Yeah, so there's a few different ways you could play this one. Something like that. We could even add a dividing line, just to kind of give the whole thing a bit more structure. Yeah, I do like the idea of having the degree symbol or some sort of math symbol. You know, like you've also got like, you can have like to the power of 2 or square roots and whatever. Square root symbol, that could be pretty good. Get down with the thickness, nice. I'm hoping that's a Disturbed reference there, Dante. Is the bottom of the A aligned with the logo? Doesn't look it. Ah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one when it comes to this because of the shape of the letter M and the shape of the letter A. You really do have to kind of consider sort of optical alignment. So if I kind of go math and agency, again, it depends on the letters and the font. Can't spell agency, can I? Come on, Dan. There you go. Now, technically, at the moment, these are technically both aligned. But sometimes, because there's this kind of gap here from the different shape, you see this is like pushing out. Whereas if I were to bring these both in, so they technically do line up, it doesn't feel like they're lined up. So that's when optical alignment does kind of come into it. You have to like align it correctly, technically. So that A there would overshoot the left side of the M to compensate for the shape of the A. Way too early for mathing. I really like the top one you created. Just align the circle on the top right to the line. And it's a banger. Oh, this one here. Yeah, I mean, and you could even bring that down. You could have the degree symbol. Make it look a bit more like a degree symbol, like, you know. And line it up properly. And it kind of does sort of bridge those words quite nicely. Oh, yeah. Fix the alignment. Ah, you can fiddle around with the alignment. You know. And Satoshi is actually a very kind of, it's a very nicely shaped font. It's very like geometric, very simple. You could even find another font that is kind of more geometric. So like the E, for example, and the C, a font that has a perfect circle. I think actually, hang on. Promo for my own font. Let's have a look. Dan Sands. Yeah, okay, well, it doesn't look as good, but you see what I mean? Find a similar font that has kind of perfect circles that could sort of lean into that mathematical side of things a bit more. But I mean, that's another way you could go. I don't think it's, you know, it's worth totally abandoning this idea because I do like that. I think it's just experimenting more with how that looks and the shapes and the symbols. But that was sent in by Olia Babichuk. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I didn't. With Dan, it's always it's always too early for mathing. Where's the coffee? The whole thing has a 1980s vibe to me. Yeah, Scott, do you think that's the colours? Do you think that's kind of the pastel yellows? I know what you mean. Maybe instead of the degree symbol, use 2. Yeah, you could use like the number. You just got to be careful then that it doesn't read math to agency. Do you know what I mean? The degree doesn't really factor in as a character that you would read. Whereas when you start adding numbers, it could be read slightly differently, you know? How can we send our designs? There is a link in the stream description. As a teacher, I can tell you that the design is already better than half the design on my textbooks. Excellent. That's a good point. The delta symbol, which any Metal Gear Solid fans on the stream? Metal Gear Solid Delta coming out sometime whenever. It's kind of like a, well, I don't know what you call it, a delta symbol. Kind of like this sort of shape. That's the something like that. Yeah, like that. So yeah, maybe there's scope to kind of get that into the design as well. It absolutely is a Disturbed reference. Nice. Very good. If you remove the crossbar of the A, it would look kind of like a greater than symbol. Crossbar of the A. Oh, yeah. I was looking at the lowercase a then, like, what are you talking about, Scott? I see what you mean. So take this out, and then you've got a great... Yeah, if it was going left or right... But again, that's like a, you know, if there's a way to get that in there, maybe the C could be a greater than symbol. It's like this sort of shape, less than, greater than. So yeah, maybe there's a way to get that in there. Maybe that's just, you know, that's the mark. There we go. 1. Flip it around. There we go. New logo mark. Greater than, less than. It's like a pair of eyes, isn't it? Okay. Maybe not that, but yeah. I do quite like... I'm not sure who suggested the degree, but I do quite like that suggestion. Rajiv says, is it necessary for a graphic designer to have basic knowledge of InDesign, or can he survive with just Illustrator and Photoshop? Yeah, absolutely. InDesign is mostly useful if you want to work with really large documents. As soon as you start adding loads of images and all sorts into a multi-artboard document, particularly large files, that Illustrator file can become quite bloated. Whereas InDesign has certain features that enable you to kind of preview a massive, like an entire catalog, but in a low-res format. And you can toggle between low-res and high-res really easily. So if things start to slow down in InDesign, you can kind of work in a low-res format, like a low-res preview, and then see the high-res preview just only when you need to. But, you know, I've got to be honest, I've not touched InDesign in years. Just don't need it, you know. So if you're going to be doing catalogs and brochures and multi-page documents, yeah, it's very, very good for laying stuff out. Plays nicely with Photoshop and Illustrator. If it's more posters, stationery, business cards, logos, that kind of thing, you know, Illustrator will have you covered. And Illustrator has more creative tools. You've got more drawing tools, you've got more effects and all that sort of stuff. Whereas InDesign it doesn't have that. At least it didn't back in the day, unless they've added it. Pi symbol, yeah. Ooh, what does that look like? I've totally forgotten. Oh, nice. Yeah, the pi symbol. Not like a you know, nom 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 pie. This one. Yeah. Could get that in there somewhere. Could maybe integrate it into the lettering. So you've got your T. God, come on, Dan. What are you doing? You've got your T. And then the H. No. There's got to be a way to, like, if you could make, do you see what I mean? If you could make that an A, and then you've got a T. A and T, you could combine the pi symbol into the word math, but somehow separate it. That would be absolutely banging. So, math. There we go. Best lettering ever. Oh, how did I get this far in my career? No one knows. Yeah. So if you could make the word math and somehow highlight this as the pi symbol. So let's just draw a line over there. And then where does the pi symbol stop? Something like, I mean, obviously I'm totally, this is a total botch job, but do you get what I'm going for? Please say you do. Oh no. I'm trying to use keyboard shortcuts and it's all going wrong. Bear with me. Do you see what I mean? There's got to be a good design there, right? The word math with the pi symbol in there. I think that could look pretty cool. Good suggestion, Raquel. I like that. Alpha Snake Eater, indeed. Snake Eater, indeed. Or Delta, or whatever they're calling it now. As long as it's got David Hayter as Snake, I don't mind. I'm all good. Oh, nice, Nathan. Cool. That's what I love about Photoshop is you can just kind of go crazy with effects, have fun, just layer them all in, play around, and every single time you'll make something completely original. Replace the N with a PI. It's quite serif-like. Ahmed. Hi, Dan. Hello. Hello. Okay, cool. Right, I think that's enough time on that one. Thank you for sending that in. That's awesome. Super cool. Right, rather than me just keep playing around with everything, I'll fire through some more quickly. I think if you... for some people that have sent them in, there's some really good ones in here, but they definitely deserve a bit more time. There's a couple of brand identity ones as well. These are like multi-page PDFs. So I think maybe next week, or if we do like another design review, we'll do those ones separately, because I don't want to rush them. Do you know what I mean? Some of them, just looking at them here, are really, yeah, like, oh yeah, this one's nice. This one's really nice, but it's very in depth, and it would be, I think you'd like to see that rather than kind of rush it. Right, I'm going to open this one. This is by Yassine. There's a lot of documents. So, where are we going? Photoshop. Hey, potato. Sorry, potato. Let's close potato down. Right, I can't promise that these pages are going to be in order. So we'll do them in whatever order Photoshop has opened them in. Verdura. So we've got a logo, we've got some leaves, So I'm not entirely sure what this business is for. Vehicle mock-up and a bag mock-up. Brand guidelines. Okay, what are you about though? What is the brand about? Yassine, if you're in the chat, feel free to throw some context at me. And I'll just go through these. And okay, here we go. Right, cool. Verdura. Verdura is a landscaping company specializing in home lawn care. Nice, okay. Our logo aims to reflect our connection to nature. Cool. That's very much what the vehicle graphics were conveying. So, yeah, blade of grass, nature. Okay, definitely getting it. Logo structure. Ooh, okay. So we've got some nice, using circles there. We've got some geometry. Very good. Good way to get nice clean curves as well. Logo usage. Okay, so we've got the main logo, we've got the mark, and we've got the word mark. Nice. Yeah, works. And I think you could stack them if you needed to as well. You know, it's... yeah, it looks good. Just one initial thought. Is the logo a little bit too high? Or am I... eyes going funny? No, the V. I think the V needs to come a little bit lower, possibly. Actually, no. Scratch that. Scratch that. I think the V... no, the V sits on the baseline. The E and the D are dipping underneath that. That's correct. What is it that's... there's something to my eye. I don't know if it's like maybe because it's white reversed out of black or something, but optically it looks like it's too high, the grass, and like it needs to come down. Is anyone else getting that, or is that just me? I want to pull it down a few pixels. I don't know if it's this, you know, this kind of curve in this blade of grass is almost, it's very similar to this kind of side of the V, and I sort of want to balance them, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. People nowadays say that Canva can replace designers who use software like Photoshop or AI. What are your thoughts on this? I think it depends who's using Canva, because like I remember, and I've heard this many times, I've heard people say at companies and freelancing that, you know, they know Photoshop in the context that they think that gives them any kind of credibility or makes them a designer somehow. And it's like, you can know Photoshop inside and out, but Photoshop isn't what makes a good designer. So you can know the software or the tool like the back of your hand, but it don't make no difference if you don't understand design theory, hierarchy, spacing, alignment, colors, proximity, all this kind of stuff. If you don't have an eye for detail and you don't have kind of everything else that goes into good design, including an appreciation of the smaller details, you know, no matter what software you use, what you create is still going to be terrible at the end of the day. So whilst I think some software might be very accessible for non-designers to use, and it's good because it empowers them to create their own stuff. I mean, people have been doing that for donkey's years anyway. You know, people use Microsoft Publisher or Microsoft Word. People are going to do their own design work. The difference is now that there's more tools for people to be able to do that and make it easier for them. So for some people, it's great because, you know, they can now just have a go at doing their own design work. But what I think you will see is you'll see an increase in mediocre / bad design, because, you know, end of the day, like I said, you know, software is a tool, and unless you and you might understand how to use the tool, but unless you've got all the other experience that leads to you creating a good product, do you know what I mean? It is what it is. Yeah, it's like when you look at sort of all the little things that I critique and the little tiny details. You know, someone using a different platform who isn't trained in that, they're not going to be able to spot those things. They won't be able to explain why this does or doesn't look right. And there's just some things that you can only learn through experience. Your design principle video is awesome. You're a fan. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Verdura is a Portuguese word and means greenery. Oh, okay. I'm going to assume that that's intentional here. Anyway, back to this. Right, let's keep going. So we've got the logo, we've got the mark. And again. This logo is for the landscaping company. It features a harmonious blend of elements, a grass trimmer, the letter V, and the grass. Wait, what? Not seeing the grass trimmer. That I think that is a bit of a stretch, but the grass, and I would get rid of that. The grass and the V, yep, absolutely. Yeah, and the V's like it's a subtle V, but it's nice. It's really, really good. I do like that. Yeah, I'm not seeing the lawnmower. Nice lawnmower icon though. I do appreciate the icon. Also, just to kind of draw your attention to the watermark here. Using the logo mark as a watermark to make what would otherwise be just a plain solid color page feel a bit more interesting is something that I used to do quite a lot as well. So you might have a big one like this faded out. You might have a simple one tiled or made into a pattern and have it across the background. Safe zone. The logo safe zone is the clear space surrounding our logo that ensures it remains unstructured and highly visible. Yeah, okay. And another way that you can define like a safe zone or the clear space, whatever you want to call it, is you can kind of take the average character height. So I covered this in one of my recent videos. Come back, where are you going? So you could kind of take the average sort of character. And then, as you can see here, they've done something very, very similar. You plaster it on all sides, and that's how you define like a good sort of clear space distance. Misuse. Okay, so this is really cool. Logo misuse occurs when the logo is altered in ways that compromise its integrity and consistency. Side note, not really as relevant. Disable hyphenation. Having words like integrity broken over 2 lines, you're better off to wrap the line there and have the word integrity written on 1 line. So just where is it? Photoshop got it. Yeah, disable hyphenation. I think Illustrator and InDesign have got that as well. Disable that so we're not breaking words over 2 lines. You could also space the letters apart a little bit more, just increase that leading, but that's real minor. Okay, so yeah, so this is good. This is how not to use the logo. Don't distort it, and don't just add a drop shadow. No, no, no. Color system, primary colors. Okay, we got green and black. Nice clear identity, and some secondary greens as well. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose it makes sense to have them all different shades of green. Are they a bit too close to the main color? Do they need to be slightly different? Maybe not, actually. I can see these colors, the green and the black, or the greens and the black, like we saw on that first one, actually. If I just go back to it. It's just, yeah, I mean, whether you tile that or not, you know, I don't know. But the green and the black does create a very strong visual identity, and it does look, that would look very, very good on a vehicle. Like it would look really, really cool. However you present it, whether you have a giant blade of grass or whatever. Okay, so we've got colors. We've got the values of the colors. Typography. Nunito Sans-Rich clean modern look that complements our brand's friendly and professional image. We've got a few different weights there. Again, sort of remove the line break. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It's a good font choice. brand imagery. Oh yeah. See, this is good. Seeing the logo even just mocked up on a graphic rather than a solid color, it just like it's just helping me helps me at least visualize. Like, yeah, I could really see this on some promotional marketing stuff. It looks smart. Yeah, really good job. Gotta head to a meeting. Hope you have a great day. Oh, thank you, Moosh. No. Meeting. Boo. Well, enjoy your meeting. Hopefully it goes well and isn't too boring. I used to find meetings so boring sometimes. You get those hour-long meetings and it was like, eh. That's a good way of putting it, Scott. Yeah, I explained that Canva is an asset compilation tool, but not an asset creation tool. The Deloitte green full stop. I like sticking full stops after words and logos. I don't know why. It's just you get that little pop of color, that little accent color in there. Paul says, I'm wondering about the font. Something about it doesn't feel quite right. What? Okay, so if you could pick a font, what would you go with? I think, yeah, I think the font, it nicely mirrors the characteristics of the grass in some respects. Would I like to see other alternatives like to the font? Yeah, for sure. But I think it's good the way it's got it's like clearly legible, and it's bold enough, but it's got the curves as well, which sort of mirrors the mark quite nicely. Yeah, like all this stuff, like the keychain mock-up and the tag. It looks smart. Oof, look at that gradient. Oh, beautiful gradient. Love it. Reese says, I'd hire them. Lol, my lawn sucks. Yeah. Me and Poppy aren't really into gardening either, Reese. Poppy got a hedge trimmer recently. It's just this massive thing, and she was having fun with that the other day. Swinging it around. Basically chainsaw on a stick. Rajiv says, I have noticed with my freelancing experience that simple designs often make a huge success if correctly placed inside the comp. Still, designers are scared to put their hands on simple. Why is that so? Often make use of correctly placed inside the comp. What's the question? Why are designers afraid of making their designs simple? Have I understood that correctly? I mean, we've probably seen this in design review as well before, that there are designs that are sometimes over-designed. There'll be like a logo mark and then the logo type will have design in it as well, and the whole thing just becomes like too much. And sometimes focusing on one kind of thing is better. The color system needs to be presented just on black. How do you think the system will work on white? Yeah, that's one thing I don't think we saw included, was just the monotone colorway as well. Black and white, white on black. But this logo does work in solid color. So, you know, it's all good there. In my opinion, the overall design looks compressed. Do you mean the lettering? Yeah, I know what you mean. The lettering could possibly feel a bit squish. Maybe the tracking just needs a bit of breathing space. Oh, there's part of me that just wants that R and that A to flow into each other. Or maybe just, yeah, like, I don't know, fit together in some way. Maybe not, though. Maybe that's a bit of a no-no from a typographical point of view. Simple cells, it's easy to understand. Everyone is impatient these days and don't want overly complex designs unless your client is creative as well. Yeah, hopefully your client isn't too creative. Tommaso, hello. Good to see you. In Argentina, verdura is vegetable and is funny reading vegetable in a logo. It's still funny. I mean, there could be worse things it could translate to. Kriaki says, "Hey, Dansky, I'm very well, thank you. I love watching all your streams and have watched almost all your streams, but still don't know how to get my work reviewed by you." There's a link in the where is it? In the stream description. I've probably got time for a couple more, and then I've got to go and get a haircut. I'm very well, thank you. I'm good. Keeping busy. What do you think of the new repeat option added inside Illustrator? How new is this repeat option? Because I think they've had a repeat option for a while now. Or is it like a recent one that I've just missed? Because we've got the repeats here. Radio. Hey. Da -da -da -da. I mean, great for making patterns. Reese gotta go. No! Contractor here to measure for new windows. No. You stay away, contractor. He's ours. Don't go, Reese. Is this design made in the golden ratio? Just asking. I don't know if it's specifically golden ratio. I'm not sure if Yassine's still here, but there was somewhere a use of circles. So quite possibly, but they've used circles to get these nice smooth curves. But I couldn't tell you if that was specifically like golden ratio. Well, that's true. Yeah, One Fish Sea, that is very true. Sometimes, you know, if you do have a bad brief, it can lead to a frustrating design process as well. And I think that's why it's important, especially as a freelancer, to work with the client on the brief at the start. So, you know, you could summarize the conversation with them into a brief that they then both like agree to. Do you know what I mean? So they might come to you and say, "Oh yeah, I want this and I want that, and I like triangles and hearts and blah 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 blah," and they'll say all this stuff. And in those conversations, I think it's important to bring it back to the business side of things. So when you know, rather than just saying, "Yeah, well, I'm the designer and I know best, and you can just butt out, Mr. or Mrs. Client," you know, if they said to me like, "Oh, I love triangles," I love heart shapes, my response would be, okay, what is it about heart shapes, and how would you say that a heart shape or a triangle would impact your business and what you do? I would bring everything and all the personal particular preference stuff that has no place in the kind of process really, or it should have a less priority, you know. I would bring that back to the business. And so it's kind of a way of not just deflecting it, but it's kind of, okay, let's stay focused on the business. And the translation of that is, yeah, I don't really care if you like triangles or hearts. I'm here to design a logo for your business. And so it works and people want to buy your products and services. Whether you like triangles or hearts is irrelevant. It's saying that in a polite and professional way and kind of steering their personal feedback back to the business objectives in the brief. And so if you have that conversation up front and you clearly define like, what are the business goals of this logo? What does this logo need to achieve from a business point of view? How is this going to impact sales? Maybe that's one of the goals. The client might be rebranding so they can kind of increase their sales. When clients are giving you feedback, you've then got something to anchor their feedback. Even if it's silly feedback, you can anchor it back to, yeah, but how does this work? How's this going to fulfill those business goals? And that sort of, how would this increase sales? And what it can help do is it can help kind of smooth out some of that particular feedback because you keep it focused on the business objectives rather than personal preference. Sometimes you will get a client that will just, they'll want it their own way, and that's that. Oh, That's my 10-minute warning. But you know, that's the good thing about freelancing is if you do have a client who's particularly hard work, once you've got enough clients, you can just say, okay, thanks, see you later, you know. Reese, I don't want to go, I promise, I want to stay. Lol, wife wants new windows, so you can't stay. Well, you know. Yeah, okay. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Wife wants new windows. It's all right, Reese. Reese, just put me in touch. I'll have a word. Be like, listen, listen. We've never met before, but your husband, he stays with us. Just leave him alone. Yeah. It's definitely got NVIDIA colors. This design for sure. Oh no! Oh, that sucks, Zakir. I hope you feel better. Just rest, recover, and just yeah. Yeah, briefs can be very complex. And I think oftentimes those early conversations can actually have a huge impact on how frustrating or smooth the process can be. And so I think it's easy to blame the client sometimes, but it's actually kind of sometimes we've got to look at ourselves and go, how could I have done that better to avoid that kind of confusion further down the line, you know? I want the logo to represent our business culture and values with a hint of eco-friendly and the fire of passion. All wrapped up in the automotive world of data. Yeah. Oh dear. What if I'm developing a tabletop card game? I was going to use InDesign for laying out the cards. If the cards are going to be very creative and you're going to be drawing and you want the more kind of illustrative, artistic tools of Illustrator, I'd probably design the cards in Illustrator. And actually, yeah, I just design them in Illustrator. It depends how many cards there are going to be as well. And how complex they are. Illustrator's just got more tools for fun and creativity. Like you don't have your shape builder tool and that in InDesign, you know, or the width tool. We can loan you your husband on the weekends. Yeah. 100% great point. Design is objective, so identifying the challenge and solving it usually gives them less wriggle room to stray to hearts and triangles again. Exactly. And I think as well is to like frame those conversations so you know, it's very easy to like be confrontational as a designer. I like when you work with some people, they rub you up the wrong way, they irritate you, and you end up butting heads like this. And you know, it's about kind of using language that reinforces the fact you're on the same side here. You're not working against each other. Even to the little things that if you are meeting a client in person and you're talking to them about something, don't sit opposite them. Opposite them is like a not confrontational, but if you can sit alongside them or next to them or something like that, there's some psychology in it that you're more like on the same side rather than opposing sides. Oh, well, I'll see you later, Raquel. Thank you so much for joining. Duty calls. Hey, Jimmy. It's been a while, man. How you doing? The notifications should still be up. It's normally 3 o'clock. Dude, it's my fault. We're like a couple hours earlier today because I've got to go and get a haircut. But who was your first client and how did you get that project? Do you still remember your experience? Yes, absolutely. My first client that I remember, proper freelance client, was a company called Acorn Windows and Conservatories. I've still got the design, and I gotta be honest, it was an absolutely banging design. It was so good. Um, and I once I'd finished my 6 month placement, I was working for a tool company as a designer, and I finished that 6 month placement, and I sent this design to a small print design company that I did my work experience there when I was like 15, and I'm convinced it was that design that I did that got me the job. Because so I finished my 6 month cover at this tool company, and then I went straight into a job at a small print design company. Uh, I'll dig out the design. I'll dig out the design. That would be quite a fun one to look at, actually. I would critique the heck out of it now. I made all the kind of little mistakes and things that you see me pick up on all the time. But the concept was just absolutely banging. It was for Acorn Windows and Conservatories, and a big part of the design was a window. Everything was slanted, so it looked kind of visually interesting with the angles anyway. And you had like a window, and in looking through the window, you had a photo of a conservatory, and I think there was like grass in the background and stuff. It was good, yeah. And so I sent that and a few of my other designs to this company when my placement at the tool company was ending, and then I sort of almost pretty much walked into my second job. Yes, InDesign is an Adobe product. I do the opposite with the brief. I design and then make the brief in regards to the design, and then go to the client and say, "Is that what you wanted?" I mean, that's one way to do it. The problem is when they turn around and say, "Not quite." Yeah, I think for the pictures I would do in Illustrator. Yeah, that's what you could do. You could design the cards in Illustrator because you've got all the creative tools, and then what you could do is import them all into InDesign and have them as a set in InDesign and export for print from there. But do the creative side in Illustrator. Illustrator's just got the best drawing tools. Oh, as always, Raquel, an absolute pleasure hanging out with you as well. I was going to say have a fantastic weekend then. Have a good week. I don't even know what day it is. James, hello. We haven't even done a segue today. We're terrible. Right, hang on. I've got to do a segue because I haven't done one yet. So if you're enjoying all of this, then that's, well, great. I've got a course. It's called the Adobe Illustrator Masterclass. So if you want to learn Illustrator without all the hassle, all the mistakes that I made, you just want to avoid all the kerfuffle, and you want to just learn Illustrator in the space of about 7 hours-ish. I think that's how long the course is. This course is just a streamlined approach to doing that. So it will teach you pretty much everything that I've learned with Illustrator in the last 17 years. So basically 17 years packaged up into 7 hours of video. No fat, no fluff, all trimmed off, so you just get the meat and potatoes. And yeah, that's a link to view the course. And if you want to enroll, definitely sign up here too, because you'll get an email for 15% off the course, which is always worth doing. Could you give any tips to get our first client? My first and only client is my mum. I designed a business card for her. That is a great place to start. Friends and family. Friends and family, make up your own briefs. Use ChatGPT and ask it to write you a design brief. And just, I mean, there's quite a few people that have submitted designs we've gone through in design review, and they're totally fictional. You look at them. Dilshan is one person that comes to mind. You guys probably know him as Max Art. He sometimes joins the streams, and some of the projects he submitted are like, you'd look at it and go, wow, that is a real brand. That is a real project. No, it's totally fictional. He made it up and has just self-set. He set himself his own brief and just made the product to go with it. So I would, yeah, just practice doing that. You can build like a really good looking portfolio of fictional projects and clients that you've made up, and then use that to go and get work. So if you struggle to write your own briefs or anything, or you want something or someone else to come up with a brief for you, just ask ChatGPT to write you a design brief and then work to that brief. And that'll be good practice as well as kind of sticking to a brief. Hi Dansky, do you have any interest in 3D and Blender? Yeah, I've not used it for a while. I did go through a phase of learning it and doing like lots of different designs. I think like I mean, you guys probably know me. Like I like doing a lot of stuff. I like designing a lot of different things, but Illustrator and Photoshop is always where I come back to. So it's fun playing around with 3D. It's fun doing After Effects. It's fun making YouTube videos, but Photoshop and Illustrator, yeah, like logos, icons, graphics, photo manipulation, like that's my favorite thing, you know? In fact, actually, I did this. Oh, let me show you this. So this is something I started last year, I think it was. And I finally finished it the other day. Something inside me was like, Dan, you need to just finish this. I was feeling really inspired. It's an Elden Ring inspired design. The DLC is coming out in about a week, and I was just really inspired to finish it. And this is it. So it's one of the bosses from the game. And oh yeah, it turned out really good. I nearly didn't carry this on. I kind of put it to one side, and I was like, oh yeah, not sure about that. And I was finally able to finish it. And yeah, it's turned out pretty well. It's your birthday! Hey, happy birthday! Nice, lots of cake. James says, what are your thoughts on the latest Adobe Terms of Service about having access to your work and projects? Like I said earlier, I think it's fair to say it's ruffled a few feathers, and I think it's like a lot of things. I think it comes down to communication. And even like I was saying earlier, like even for designers, you know, being able to effectively communicate things is super important. And you can say the same thing 10 different ways. 5 of those ways will be terrible and the other 5 will be great. And so, you know, I think it's just all about good communication. But yeah, I think it's one of those things that, like, I've heard a lot about it. I've not dug into it too much. But yeah, I think this whole process and the uproar about it, there's definitely things that can be learned, I think, from the whole debacle. Oh, that is fine. You go to the restaurant and enjoy a nice birthday meal. That sounded really sarcastic. I actually meant that with all sincerity. Nice. Honestly, dude, have a really, really good birthday. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? Yeah, I did Blender for a bit, and now I don't remember how to pan around. Yeah, you forget the basics. Oh, I'll see you later. Still not me. By the way, just curious, have you ever tried Affinity? I'm on Adobe and satisfied with it, but Affinity triggered my attention lately. Where is it? Yes. Yeah, I do have the Affinity suite. I was trying to show my dock then, but it doesn't pop up on this display. Yeah. Yeah, I got it the other day, just out of curiosity. It's always good to learn new things and, you know, play around with different software. Absolutely, Sir Allington. Happy birthday, have a potato. Oh dear. Potato tick. Oh, thank you very much, One Fish Sea. Yeah, so this is where it started. So, sorry, Leandro Denner. How to deal with the feeling of never creating anything that good. I'm a beginner. So, okay, right. This is. Don't be discouraged. You will create things that are better, but it's like the old saying or whatever. If it is a saying, I don't know. You've got to be the fool before you can become the master. So I don't know where I got that from. I think someone said it to me. It might have been my brother actually. But we all start off terrible. It's just the way it is, and that's fine. Just keep creating things, create things you want to create that you enjoy creating, and you'll kind of figure out maybe your own style or you prefer this over that, and just pursue what you enjoy creating. And like, just to show you an example, like this design here, I'm so proud of this now. It nearly didn't exist. This is how it started. That's literally how it started. Drawing these shapes. I think that's a curtain. I made the dress out of a curtain, a bit of fur and some terribly cut out hair. That's literally what it started. And it's easy to look at that and go, well, that's a load of rubbish. Because it is. But you just got to persevere. This is the point where I kind of abandoned it last year. And I think it looks fine. The helmet is, that's her helmet from Google. And I drew the arm and, all this was painted digitally. And it looks fine, I suppose. It's, I was quite harsh on myself, actually. I was like, oh, this looks a bit rubbish. Digital painting is just not, it's not what I'm good at. But then the other day I found a real photo. They actually made like a life-size metal prosthetic arm. And so I grabbed this from Google and I was like, oh, okay, I've got the actual arm now. And the sword as well. So, I think digital painting and drawing, that is pushing my skill set to the limit. This does have a lot of painting in it. Like the scarf here. Like a lot of this was, all the details, the lighting was painted. A lot of the hair was painted because, as you saw, that cutout was absolutely awful. So I painted in a lot of the hair. Blood spatters, blood highlights, the rings on the dress, the wrinkles, the bracelets. The arm has been photoshopped to absolute high heaven. Loads of highlights and things. So that's kind of where it was the other day. And then within about 24 hours, it had turned into that. So, yeah, the point I'm trying to make is just don't get discouraged. Stick with it. You will get better if you practice. And as well, learning the tools. The more you learn the tools, like when I'm creating something like this, because I know so many of Photoshop's tools, if I have a problem like, the hair looks bad. Okay, what am I going to do? I'll try all these techniques to cut the hair out. Okay, it still looks bad. What do I do now? I'll try the smudge tool. Looks a bit rubbish. Okay, I'll draw some hair in. Like, I go through this process of like, okay, what's the best tool and process to solve this problem? And that is just a big part of it is, whether you're using Illustrator's tools or Photoshop's tools, it's just about problem solving, Hey, enjoy your birthday meal. Have a good time. Hey, you're welcome, Mohammed. Is there a website you would recommend to see the references for the designs? What, the reference for this design? if you type in millennia, M-A, this is the name of the character. If you type that into Google, you'll be able to see what the character looks like. So no, not a logo. No, I was never known for logo design. Logo designs are one of those things I love doing, but I'm not known for logo design. It was always a smaller part of my career. Most of my career was actually spent doing web and UI design, designing websites and apps. This photo manipulation stuff is what I do for fun. Doing this kind of stuff in Photoshop and listening to music is probably my favorite thing in the world. If I purchase your logo design, sorry, did you mean the course, or the course is for Illustrator in general? I do a lot of different types of design, to be honest. I love, like, I don't like just doing one thing. So I don't do this stuff professionally. Just because, well, I don't freelance anymore. I haven't freelanced since 2017. That's not to say I wouldn't, but the opportunities just never really presented itself. And I kind of like doing this stuff for me as well. This is the kind of personal project. This is like my artwork. I'm working on something that I'm super passionate about. I don't want people kind of giving me feedback on my art. I do it for me. It's not like a design problem I'm trying to solve. So I think, yeah, this kind of stuff is the sort of thing that I draw a line and say, you know what, this is reserved for me. I do this for fun. Oh, thanks, Tommaso. Yeah, this is how it started. This is what I normally do. Throw the images together and I just look at this and go, does this concept have any legs? Is it worth pursuing? That's where I got it to recently, and then I finally got it over the line the other day. So yeah, there's loads of different places that you can get clients from. I found a lot of success on people per hour. I couldn't tell you what it's like now, and I haven't used it in years and years and years. But I did freelance on this platform, and because I just only ever got 5-star ratings, I made a point of trying to give the clients the best possible experience. So I had this like super, he's worked with, I think it was in the end 99 people, all 5 stars, not a single rating less than that. So then that looks really, really good when someone's looking for a designer. That obviously stands out. And it got to the point where it was like I stopped having to pitch for projects and people would approach me on the platform with their projects because I was getting good ratings. They would search me and I would pop up. And so I think, looking back, it's like, well, that's something I did to stand out, was to just make sure that everyone had a great experience working with me. They got a good design, friendly communication, no squabbles, quibbles or anything. And then that rating kind of helped me get more work. Dansky, that looks amazing. There, feedback on your art. What you gonna do? Cheers, Dante. Thank you. I'm gonna sit here and take it. I accept your feedback. Have you made a time lapse making art like this? Yeah, I've got some. Oh, actually, no, I've got to link you this. I mean, this is probably still my favorite video to date. So if you want to see epic time lapse with epic music of me making something in Photoshop, this is probably one of the best things I've ever made. And I did this in 2021 for Benny's Spooky Edit War. And it was kind of like this was like a holy shit moment. I can actually make stuff that was decent. Like, it really, I put, because it was a competition, I put a lot of effort into it, and I actually ended up surprising myself with what I had made. It was like, wow, like I'm actually better than I thought. And sometimes you just got to just take that self-doubt. I know what you mean. You kind of get that self-doubt, and you have to just tell that part of you to shut up and just persevere and keep going. Keep working on it, keep refining it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Oh, what? The dramatic voiceover at the beginning? Yes, I did. Oh, I can't remember what I say now. What did I say in that?
Benny issues a challenge to the world. Well, Benny, challenge accepted.
Something like that. I think it was a morning, if I remember rightly, when I felt quite rough and tired. So my voice was like more deep and gravelly in the morning. So it sounded like extra grrr. And then all I did was just drop the pitch a little bit, and it was like, oh, here we go. There we go. I just love, yeah, I love it. Yeah. Not like now. My voice is all like, it's midday now. I know it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My voice is all squeaky now. High and squeaky. Please audition for Audible. I swear that I do like doing voiceover stuff. Just with like YouTube videos. Like I do enjoy it. But yeah, I'd love to play around with it more. It sounds like Kratos from God of War. Yeah. That's what I sound like in the morning, James. If I haven't slept very well and I wake up feeling a bit rough, I got the Kratos voice going on. But yeah, or we can speak properly. We can say things nice and clearly into the microphone. And if I come a little bit closer, it sounds even nicer. And we kind of go into a slight presenting voice, and we can do this over here. Click this button now to learn more. It's a Shure SM7B. SM7B. That's the mic. Your voice is good. Oh, that's very kind of you. Your voice is good. I like your voice. Oh, what does that sound like? It sounds like something. I need to go now. I need to get a haircut. We're going to teach you how to use the pen tool. It's almost like a bit AI. Hi. Select the brush tool with B. Then press the left or right square bracket on the keyboard to increase or decrease the brush size. Now create a new layer and start brushing. Maybe I should do a video like that. I don't know. Voiceover work. We're going to teach you how to use the pen tool. Right, this is fun, but I need to go. I need to go and get a haircut or I'm going to be late. I'm always late and Joe's going to get mad at me. Storytelling. Maybe, yeah. Oh, you like the voiceovers? Okay, maybe we could double down and play around with that in some videos. I do have a lot of fun reading the kids' bedtime stories, I'll be honest. Oh, that's it, James. Please leave your message after the tone. Boop. You sound like a narrator from Stanley Parable. Oh, that's funny. You sound like the boring teachers in Udemy. No. Oh, I had a lot of fun today. Thank you everyone for joining the stream. Goodbye. Right, I gotta go. Thank you everyone who submitted work. Yes, I think I've had so many submissions. My email is like going crazy. So what I think we'll do is we'll do some more next week. I'll take some of these and some from the previous stream as well, and like the last one, and we'll do some more design review because I got so many to get through. Oh, it's been a pleasure. Segue before the end. I haven't got time for a segue. We'll do a really, really quick one. We'll do a really, really quick segue. If you would like to learn Adobe Illustrator, please click the link in the chat now. Right, take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye.